All right, so why the difference? Why are Republicans in close races still wanting Donald Trump, who's very unpopular, there, and the Democrats don't seem to want Biden?
Yeah, well, a lot of what the Democrats are doing is very standard operating procedure. The president of the party in power has traditionally never been a boost to Democrats, or I'm sorry, to their candidates running in a midterm election. So you're seeing Democrats hold back from Biden coming. But a lot of that is because the Democratic candidates themselves are more popular in their states than Biden. So it just doesn't make sense to have him there. But he's being used effectively to the extent that he's raising money, which is what they really need right now.
But isn't it also true that President Biden, either in 2020, today, 2024, is not the kind of guy who can get big numbers of people at rallies either. He's not the guy who people get super excited about. And Donald Trump is.
Maybe, but
is that unfair? I mean,
it's not unfair to say that there is a performance quality that Trump has that his people, his supporters love. But John Fetterman had 3,000 people on his own in Montgomery County. That's a lot for a Senate candidate in Pennsylvania. That's just unheard of. So the candidates seem to be doing well on their own. It is a really big risk for Republicans to keep using him because he's so widely disliked by independent voters. And every time independent voters see Trump back in the public on the public stage, they're reminded of why they didn't vote for him the last time.
But I wonder whether the difference is that Trump can galvanize people to go to the polls and Biden can't. Meaning they're both sort of equally unpopular to some degree if you just look at approval ratings. But when Donald Trump tells his people to go do something, they go do it.
Well, maybe. He lost them the House, he lost them the Senate, he lost the White House. The only successful Republican candidate recently has been Glenn Youngkin, who didn't let Donald Trump step foot in his state when he was running.
And that's why it's interesting, right? And Youngkin's actually a great example, which I would have thought would have led Republicans to say, we got to play by that book.
Well, a lot of the candidates that you named up there were candidates that Trump handpicked himself.
All three of them, actually.
For the primary.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing they all have in common is that they are consistently polling higher and unfavorably than their Democratic counterparts, which means people in their state don't really like them. And it's a binary choice. And it's really hard to vote for people you don't like.
Let me ask you one last big picture question. Things as ugly, you think, out there for the Democrats in the midterms, as many are now in the last week suggesting?
I don't know. We'll see. There's two factors I don't think have been measured that we don't know how they're going to turn out, and that's the effect of the Supreme Court and it's the effect of Donald Trump. These are two factors that are affecting and disrupting the political environment, kind of like '98 and 2002, where unforeseen events disrupted those midterms. Traditionally, it's about pumping the brakes on the administration or pumping the brakes on the party in power. But this time, the former president and the Supreme Court have sort of made it a referendum on the party out of power.
Michael LaRosa, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.